It seems to be, well, it's a perception. Like I said earlier, there are 100 people in this room and 100 different opinions, but it's simply a perception because after Art Deco, you had well, Art Deco actually goes through many phases. Even post-war architecture is Deco in a way, and there's many examples of that. It's not romanticized. It's not au courant. Nobody looks at those these days, but we have excellent examples. We have the WHO building on Taft Avenue that's now covered by another building. We have the Film Life building on UN Avenue. Yes, I hear. And so it's a question of perception. And if you talk Art Deco, what Art Deco buildings do you talk about? Only Quezon Institute?
That's one, like the buildings in this I mean, it's very limited. Like I said, I'm not an architect.
Oh, but we have the most incredible Art Deco group of buildings in the country, which is the Far Eastern University campus, and this was not mentioned. So this is really, I mean, this is only a style, and the styles go on. So I really would not say that anything stops with a single style.
Perceptively, that's true. It seems to have gotten the most hype, and then everything else has not received as much hype, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is, yes.
Would any of our panelists would like to say something about the question? No. None. Okay. Any other question from the back? Questions? Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeremiah. I'm an architect. My question is about preservation of local talents and country's designers. What's your reaction in the influx or the coming in of several foreign consultants or designers, foreign designers in the country? Is it good or bad for the countries or to our local designers? Your view about this?
Yes, I think any one of the panelists could say something about international consultants coming in and taking part of the design.
Okay,
education and stuff.
I don't necessarily think that that having international consultants coming in is a bad thing. In fact, we tend to learn quite a bit from the way they do things. No, I think the danger really comes more when the consultants do not adapt to local culture, and that is, I think, why you really need the local counterpart to work hand in hand with them. Because and I'll give you a really good example. Let's say you can go to Hong Kong and see a beautiful skyscraper done by a British architect, and it looks beautiful. And then you look at the other side of the building and you see, 800 bamboo poles sticking out and all the laundry hanging out outside. And you start wondering, okay, did the architect consider the cultural aspect that the Chinese tend to prefer to hang their laundry outside? Because in his culture, he uses a washer and a dryer. Now, visually, when you see the architecture, it's beautiful, but then the cultural side of it, it tends to have failed, and that kind of starts becoming the disconnect. And when you start bringing in foreign consultants, you also bring in foreign culture, and that is where you have to find the balance, and the proper balance really has to be a very nice dance between the two. The danger is when the local developer or the one that brings in the foreign consultant plays on a colonial mentality, the colonial mentality of what's West is best, and starts to use that as part of his marketing strategy to be able to sell his condominium or sell the building using the foreign name as the brand name to sell it. That's all well and good, but what happens is that you tend to think foreign, and when you don't adapt, and if the local architect does not have the chance to actually adapt and start infusing a lot of what makes Filipino, give the Filipino identity, then that's where the danger happens. Now, it has nothing to do with a foreigner coming here and doing work here. it has a lot to do with the way we deal and with each other, you know, back and forth, I guess.
Thank you, Architect Munoz. I'd like to request an answer from Architect Villalon on the product design. Having foreign consultants for Filipino products, export products, for example. Architect Munoz talked about the possible influence of consultants in the architecture aspect. How about on product design?
Actually, foreign consultants have moved Filipino product design light years. They have come to look at and to study Filipino manufacture, Filipino design, Filipino craft, but behind them comes the experience of knowing what markets are looking for in certain places, markets type A, B, C, D, E, and they are able to put this gap together. They have been able to open the Filipino eyes into what people are looking for to make Filipinos be a little more adaptable, which we are. We're very adaptable, into doing a banig, into adapting, let's say, a banig into a product that somebody's going to buy on Fifth Avenue or on Avenue Foch. So it was actually, well, Filipinos actually we're a very happy people, but we tend not to look outside of our islands. I guess it's part of being an island culture. We're quite isolated in a way. We don't look out, and the early design center and CITEM strategy of bringing foreigners in, bringing the foreign ideas into the Philippines was good. The foreigner did not dictate any idea to the Philippines. He, in fact, took Filipino design and brought it up, or I won't say up, moved it sideways, certain notches. I mean, this is going to work in London, this is going to work in New York, this is going to work in Buenos Aires. The Filipinos did not have that facility then. We do a little more now.
Thank you. Any other question? None? Okay.
Yes. This is directed to Architect Manyosa and even maybe to the two other gentlemen. Is there a body in the government that takes an inventory of all our locally available and indigenous materials? The question for this is because as part of our, like for example, when we did our branding campaign for Bohol, we had to study karst and how limestone would interact with the weather and the culture, etc. When we started prescribing that, things like karst and Philippine Tektite, a lot of our contractors and the designers said, Amor, I don't know where to get what you're asking for. And I don't know which body to direct the query in terms of like locally available materials. Because like when we talk about retail experiences in Hong Kong and in Nordic countries, the discussion on material is as prominent. And then my business partner, Brad, also wants to ask, do you think upcycling is a new trend in product development? So there, thanks.
As far as information on materials, there's no one place to go to, but you have to know where to go. For information on karst, etc., Bureau of Mines is a good place to go to. There's no one central office, and you're talking of different materials. You're talking wood, so wood, you go to Los Baños to For Pridecom. They would have all that information. You're talking about shells and marine life. The place to go to is the ENR. So. We're not as organized as I think we all know as Nordic countries, which are super organized. They're organized to death. But here, part of the Filipino ethos is to know where to go or to find out where to go.
Well, Amar, we have a really good library in the office of